Welcome, gentlemen. We have 15 minutes, which is not so much, but we'd like to share some interesting topics on how we can support the growth of health tech companies, how we will be able to make that shift. And I'm here with Guillaume Morelli, who is the head of listening for France, Spain and Portugal at Euronext, and also with Gilles, who's the CEO of Acticor Biotech. And maybe we just start, I suppose some of the people might know both of you, but let's just start with an introduction, a quick introduction. Gilles, could you tell us a little bit more about Acticor Biotech?
Yes. Do you hear me? Yes. Okay. Thank you for your invitation. And I would like just maybe to give few words about Acticor. We are still a startup which has been created in 2013, and we are developing a fragment of monoclonal antibody, a biotech product for stroke, at the acute phase of stroke. And our goal is to register the product or to sell the company. And we are now in phase 3. We still have recruited 400 patients in our second trial, and we will have the result in April next year. Just few words about why we are on Euronext, maybe. The first reason was we are developing a drug in stroke, and stroke is a very tough pathology where there is no drug for the last 20 years. And at the beginning, when we created the company, it was easier to speak to individuals than to investors. And we started the company raising funds with a crowdfunding platform, and it works very well. And then it was quite natural to go to be listed. And we decided in November 21 to be listed because we had the proof of the safety of our product. And I think it was a good time to maybe to be more responsible in front of individuals and new investors. And that's why we went public in November 21.
Okay, Gilles, I've suffered a stroke myself. I did not tell you when we met online, but that was 10 years ago. I don't have any things left of that, but I can imagine that it's indeed touching a lot of people. And you were talking about IPO. For an IPO, we need a stock exchange, of course. Guillaume, you are part of Euronext, which is state-of-the-art, I would say, stock exchange. And also very important because you are a lot in the health tech sector. Could you tell us why it is and what exactly is so particular about that stock exchange?
Okay. Thank you very much. So, yeah, indeed, Euronext is the very first pan-European capital market in Europe, representing all of the talents that we have in our economy. And over the last 10 years, indeed, Euronext became the largest exchange in Europe for health tech with approximately 50% market share. And there is two main reasons to justify it. First of all, the quality and the density of health tech companies in Europe that is improving a lot due to the talent of our entrepreneurs, but also due to what is done for non-listed companies with the support of the public fundings. The second part is that because of Euronext, because of the size of Euronext, we are able to attract investors from all around the world, in particular European investors, in particular also US investors. And we should not underestimate, like Gilles mentioned, the importance of retail investors in the health tech industry. And for the very first time in the history of Europe, we have been able to have a market that is big enough, strong enough to attract money from all over the world, rather than in history it was very fragmented and local to local.
Mm-hmm. So Gilles, about 2 years ago it was that you decided to go to that stock market. You explained us why. What is your feedback as an entrepreneur? Because it's quite a roller coaster, I can imagine, to go to the stock exchange.
Yeah, the feedback today is I will say difficult because the environment is difficult, as everybody knows. More than 20 years ago, when I went with BioAlliance in IPO, we were able to meet a lot of investors, a lot of non-specialist investors. And today, it's probably it's more difficult. But there is some advantages. The first one is probably for the company to be prepared to be listed, because it's a process which is very important in terms of quality, in terms of communication, in terms of learning of confidentiality, and also in terms of all the process of the company need to be prepared. And I think it is really important for the team to also. And maybe the second interesting feedback is the access of individuals, investors, because I told you when we started with crowdfunding, we had a lot of individuals investors, but again, during the last pipe we did, private placement, we give access to a company called Primary Bid, and this company is very interesting because it is able to invest in few hours with a lot of individuals, even during a private placement, and we succeeded in March to raise 1.2 million in few hours from individuals, which is very interesting. And I think it's one thing which is possible for a public company, and of course, which is not possible for a private one.
Mm-hmm. So what I hear you say is that you need to come prepared. That's with many things in life. It's better when you're prepared to go out there. But I think, Guillaume, that if you want to go for an IPO, you have to be ready to go that extra mile, to do that little extra on top of that. What would be your advice for people in the room that think of going to Euronext, or at least go for an IPO?
Well, first, copy Gilles and ask for his experience, because he's very experienced in that field. So I can't be more than agree with what I've been said already. When we mention get prepared, actually, it's not only prepare your company, prepare your CFO, etc. It's more than that. So actually, at Euronext, we created bridges between the private and the public equity world. With a program called IPO Ready, where we offer for free to entrepreneurs a 6-month training program, a kind of MBA of IPO, where you will be able to, within a group of peers of a fast-growing, innovative company in Europe, to meet all the experts that are doing the IPO, to meet plenty of CEOs that will share their experience, to meet plenty of investors, also to get known and to start investor education, because there is no better reason to do an IPO but to do it for the good reason at the good moment. So if you're ready to take the decision, if you're ready to go public, then you make it successful. The second advice I would say, and I think once again Gilles is a perfect example, you need to stay as ambitious as possible. The main difference between the public and the private equity world is that VCs and public equity investors are thinking differently. Whereas VCs will ask you to focus on one product, step by step, and put all your effort and money in it, the public equity will expect you to be a kind of innovative company rather than a company focusing on innovation, with an ability, of course, to present a strong pipe like Gilles, but also an ability to repeat successes. And I think this is two key aspects of a mentality of an entrepreneur that is considering an IPO. Get prepared and stay ambitious.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Gilles, but then I think we can be clear on that. You will have to be able to cope with the demands that the financial market has. How you suggest entrepreneurs to invest in that part, to be able to cope, stay ambitious, of course, but how can you cope with everything that is needed on the financial market?
Yeah, I think when you are public, the most important thing is quality of the data. You need to be data-driven. You need to be sure that what you say to the market is strong enough, and they have to believe you. I think what I say is obvious for you, but it is really important. That's why I told you when we decided to go public, we had enough safety data to be sure that our drug could be a potential drug. It's really important for me to be data-driven. I think our science in Europe in Europe in general is really good. I think we are able to create a lot of companies. Also, the state and grants are quite large for the beginning, to create the company, but then it is difficult to raise money, and maybe one of the key to raise money, to be public, is the quality of the data.
Okay, so you need qualitative data to start with, but you should not underestimate how your data will stay that important throughout the whole phases, and you have to show that data on a very regular moments, and also be able to gather all the data that you need and that will be asked for. Guillaume, maybe as a last question, you say we have to stay ambitious. Okay, so we have to be ambitious, but then if we have to be ambitious and we want to really have that success with our IPO, what else would you then suggest us beside following Gilles, of course?
I will mention also that you need to be tactical, especially in this environment. So we will not lie to you. We all know that we are in the middle of a crisis for the health tech industry, in particular accessing new fundings. But the good news is that it's the sixth crisis that the sector is suffering over the last 2 decades. So we can survive through a crisis, and because we are all there, so it means that there will be a new bull market coming. And we are seeing signal of recovery. As of today, for example, in Europe, the number of the capital raised by European health tech, listed European health tech, increased by roughly 40% compared to last year. So compared to low level, but it is improving. We have seen more than 10 funding of more than 100 million euros so far this year for European companies listed in Europe. So meaning that there is still money available. And when I say you need to be tactical, is it apart from being ambitious and get prepared, maybe compared to previous cycle, you need to get listed when you don't need money. Because we know that IPO is complex, there is window of opportunity, etc. And so we believe that when you are ready for data, get listed as soon as possible, raise what you can raise, but it is much easier for a listed company to raise a significant amount of money than for a newly listing one to try to raise 100 or 200 or even 300 million euros. By being listed, you will access to wider tools, and you will start to create what is the most important, confidence with investors.
Okay, I think that was very clear. So as soon as you feel you're ready to get listed, go out there, check everything you need to know and how they can help you, because it will be like a little bit a quality stamp on your company also to talk with other investors is what I mostly hear. Let me wish you all the success with your company. with raising the money, but for sure finding the cure for all those people that need it. Loads of success with all the money you can raise for other people. Thank you for being in Paris, and it's very nice that you brought the sun, because it's sunny Paris, so that is very nice. Give them a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.